And then, in the other aspect of his life, the outer, to meditate on those qualities that he manifested, not with a view to saying how great he was, except that's perfectly good to speak of how great a great person is, and especially one's own guru. But more than that, do it with the idea of how can we manifest those qualities ourselves. He had this love for everybody. We must learn to develop that. I remember another singer, Dick Hames and Herb Jeffries, both came at about the same time. Dick Hames was, I forget whom he sang with. Doesn't matter, one of the big bands there, and then he became a movie actor. He was a movie star. And Herb Jeffries sang with Duke Ellington. And I remember he took me to a recording session that he gave one time, and it was really quite fun to listen to somebody putting his whole self into his voice the way Herb was able to. He was a very nice man, very warm-hearted, very very charismatic. And when he was with Master, he was full of enthusiasm. He just had to get it all right now. So Master told him to meet me, and I would give him the techniques. So I made an appointment with Herb to go to the church, and I'd meet him there, and we'd go through the techniques together. I'd teach him. Well, he didn't show up. And the next appointment I made, he didn't show up. He always kept his appointments with Master to get the inspiration of Master's presence. But when it came to a question of learning how to do it himself, he just never came around. And I got really fed up. I thought, this character's insincere. I don't want to waste my time with him. And so I told Master the next day that he was to have Herb Jeffries to lunch. And I was very often, I was there with Master when he served lunch to guests, and I'd serve them. And if they were new, I'd do the postures and so on. So I was there, and Master said, well, we'll have a good time with him today. And I thought, well, he's really going to tell him off, to be serious. Well, he didn't do anything of the sort. He was just even more loving. And I just wouldn't, I was fed up. I wouldn't talk to Herb Jeffries at all. Master was pouring out all this love, and Herb would look at me, and I just would look into the distance. I used to be of this type, that if I'd had it with somebody, I'd had it forever. They ceased to exist for me. And Master cured me of that rather quickly. He said afterwards, my, you were cold with that person. How would it be if I had treated you all like that? Well, that got to me. Because after all, we all make mistakes. And so I guess I did end up giving Herb Jeffries Kriya. But the thing is that when we see that kind of compassion from Master, it isn't enough to say, oh my, how wonderfully compassionate you are. Take it as a lesson and say, all right, then I should be more like that too.
Good morning again. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to start with just a few brief quotes on kindness, on this beautiful topic of practicing kindness. These are from Master Paramhansa Yogananda ji. Kindness is the light that dissolves all walls between souls, families, and nations. Another, a small flower tinged with affection or a word fragrant with kindness can do much to patch up old wounds. Put on your best suit of kindness and proper behavior, first of all, with your own mate and children. Practice kindness at home, and you will win everybody else by your magnetic aura of kindness. And two more. Making others happy through kindness of speech and sincerity of right advice is a sign of true greatness. To hurt another soul by sarcastic words, looks, or suggestions is despicable. And finally, there is a magnet in your heart that will attract true friends. That magnet is unselfishness, thinking of others first. When you learn to live for others, they will live for you. And from Thich Nhat Hanh, the well-known Vietnamese Buddhist monk who left his body just in January, Davy G read this at one of the classes last week in a renewal. It is possible that the next Buddha will not take the form of an individual. The next Buddha may take the form of a community practicing understanding and loving kindness, a community practicing mindful living. This may be the most important thing we can do for the survival of the earth. This is such an important statement, all of these, and it's such a wonderful topic to talk about because many people, I believe, think kindness just comes whenever it comes and however it comes, and you have no control over it and you don't consciously try to be kind. But on our path, it's a part of our spiritual teachings. It's a part of our way of life. It's a part of, we're living kindness through what Master gave to us, and kindness to people, kindness to nature, kindness to animals. Kindness is a part of being a spiritual seeker, a devotee. And we should consciously try to be kind and consciously not try to hurt people, consciously not say bad things about people and speak poorly about them. And we have to, it's a conscious effort, kindness. And as you practice that, this is why it's called practicing kindness. You become that yourself. You become more loving, more joyful, more peaceful, more spiritually magnetic. You break through the shackles of karma that you have in relationships and with yourself. And so practicing kindness is something that we have to see it as a part of our spiritual life and our spiritual teachings and our spiritual path. If you think of some act of kindness that someone did on your behalf, they maybe called you when you were ill or brought over something, gave you some nice gift or took you out or whatever it was, or some act of kindness that you did for someone else. What is the feeling that you had in your heart? Love, joy, expansion, an unlimited feeling flowing from your heart, from the divine of love. And that's what kindness brings. Anytime you start shutting down, no, I won't do that. I won't send a message of congratulations to that person because I don't want to. I won't send a kind word. I won't call them and thank them. I won't do it. Well, you're just holding yourself back spiritually. And as you do it more and more, you're just happy all the time. You live in joy. I remember a time that was, it was early on when I came to India, and it was very hot. It was the summer time, and I was giving a class in Delhi at a school. It was for some students of the Sangha. It was so hot, and the class, it was a discipleship and an Om class, and some people were indoors, and I had one fellow who had missed some classes. I was teaching him outside. It was just scalding hot. I just remember just trying to get through that class and not faint. And at the very end, it was that and initiation. And I think I was just soaked and he was soaked, and I just couldn't wait to just get up from there and leave. And he did the kindest thing, and he must have had this plan before. He said, no, wait, I brought the lunch for us. And he pulled out a lunch that his wife had made. He had something cold to drink, and it was just, it touched my heart. And I just thought, this is so sweet of him to think of that afterwards, that I would need something some refreshment. And these are things that you don't think, what am I going to get back? I gave, so I'm going to get back. You just think just for the love of doing it. And I was recalling how Master and Swamiji were the embodiment of kindness. Swamiji said Master would say, if he didn't remember someone's name, he would say, now, what is your full name? Because he didn't want to embarrass them and say, what is your name? He said, what is your full name? He was always so gracious. And you probably all remember the beautiful, touching story of when Master was driving. He was in a car going down the street. This must have been in Los Angeles. And he suddenly told the driver, stop the car, stop the car. And he got out of the car and he went into a shop. And it had all kinds of trinkets and gift items and things, but it was a kind of a poor shop. And Master went in and he had a basket. He just put so many things in that basket. And he went up, it was the end of the day, and he just filled it up, the basket. He went up to the cash register, to the owner of the store, and the owner started, checking things and adding up the bill. And then she burst out in tears. She said, I very badly needed just this amount of money for, I think it was for her child or for rent or something. And Master just knew. He didn't say anything. I knew, that's why I came here. He just did it because Divine Mother had him do that. And for all of us, just feel I'm open as a channel of kindness. And I think that Ananda is a vehicle of kindness. I've never been anywhere in my life where people were so kind and so considerate and so loving and so serviceful and so less ego and so wanting to help you and make you feel at home and welcome. And there's so many times that someone's sick and there's a whole list of people who's going to bring meals for the whole family and they're going to drive the children to school and people may get married and everybody gives them money to go on a vacation or honeymoon or whatever is needed, or someone's in the hospital. And I've been many times just sit at someone's bedside and just be with them and pray with them. And it's a part of our community life, and it needs to be a part of all of our lives, not if you live there or not, but that I'm a channel for Divine Mother's kindness. I remember once a few years ago, this was one of my dear friends who passed away recently, Seva, Nayaswami Seva, and her name just tells how she was. And I was just about to come back to India. I had been in America for a month or two. And so we had stopped, she was driving me to the airport. And so we had stopped to get some things that I wanted to bring back to India, some special food items that I wanted to have here. So we were at the store that all the Nanda people go to, and I had a basket full of things that I wanted to bring back. And when she had a basket, and so because she was going back home to Ananda village. So then just at a certain point, I said, I'll be right back. I had to go back in the back to get something. And so by the time I came back, she was had cashed everything out and paid for all of the things in my basket. And I said, you didn't have to do that. She said, no, I want to help India. I want to help India. It wasn't even personal. I want to help India. And that's an act of kindness. She didn't want anything back. She didn't do it. Nobody ever heard about it. This is I helped India. No, it was just that she did it out of the kindness of her heart. Now that's the Ananda spirit. That's the spirit that I know Master Swamiji would love. How to give energy rather than take or hold back, or I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to say this or that. And Swamiji was that too. He always was kind and gracious. And many of you might remember various things that he did. I was remembering one time we would have these big dinners here at NCR with Swamiji after some of the talks that he gave, the large talks that he gave. And Swamiji always after dinner, he says, I want to go to every table. I want to greet everybody and say hello. And even if he could barely walk, he was unwell. But he said, no, I want to see everybody and make sure everybody has what they need. And it was so touching to see him always reaching out when Swamiji would be in the hospital, which was numerous times. He was thinking of the other people. And once a doctor asked him, his doctor, a surgeon, asked him if he could help him because Swamiji had just gone through the surgery, I think the day before. And the doctor said, I want to ask you if you could help me to not cut corners because I have to send my son to university and I don't want to do things that aren't right. And Swamiji said, yes, I can help you. It's from his bed in the hospital. Swamiji started writing the material success lessons. Now, he surely didn't feel up to that, but this man needed help and Swamiji wanted to help him. This is just the way he lived. And wherever he went, at a restaurant, the chef always knew Swamiji and what he wanted. The mall, he would go to every store, the stores where he needed his eyeglasses or whatever. And he would talk with them. They talked about their family and their problems, and Swamiji would sit with them. And it was very touching to see. I was so glad I could see this. And then there was another time when this was very poignant for me because this was when we were in Italy. There's just so many, could write a book about the things Swamiji did around kindness, but there was a man who, some men rather, and they were from Africa. And we were living in, I think we were in Rome then. Yeah, we were in Rome. And Swamiji wanted to go out. We were at a mercato, outdoor market. And so we were walking up and down the aisles and, buying little trinkets and things like that. And Swamiji, these men were there. And I was embarrassed. I mean, this was many years back. And I just felt, oh, they're so poor and they don't have anything. And I don't want to identify with them at all. I just don't want to identify it. I knew Swamiji, I knew he knew what I was thinking and feeling. And he did the most wonderful thing. It helped me, it helped them. They were selling sunglasses, I remember. And I just tried to walk as far away from those people as possible because I didn't want to identify with them, you see. And Swamiji just kept going, just normally, and he just answered their request. They didn't say anything to him, but he knew they didn't have money and they were poor and they needed help. So what did he do? And he saw me kind of going off in the other direction. What did he do? The thing to do. He went over and bought some sunglasses. He helped them. And then that broke the ice. And then everybody in the group went over, okay, we want to help these people. But I had to see it. I had to see Swamiji in action. I had to see the kindness. And then that broke that shackle in my own mind. It doesn't matter who the person is, what color they are, where they're from, what status they have, that be kind to people as best as you can. And one last thing I remember, Swamiji, that as I said, he was in the hospital many times, and his room would be full of flowers. You probably heard this story before, because everybody would give in America, you can bring flowers to the hospital. And so then one day Swamiji said, no, look at all these beautiful flowers. He said, I bet people here, a lot of people don't have anybody who loves them like this. And he said, I want you to take these flowers to every room where there's no flowers and just sit and talk with them and make sure that they're okay. Isn't that the most beautiful thing? It doesn't take much. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take status. It doesn't take much. It just takes a heart that's open and open to God's flow of love. So what can we do? Open ourselves as channels. Look for opportunities of kindness. Don't hold back. Don't say negative things. Negativity bounces back on you. Don't talk against people. Write them negative things and just be positive and cooperative. And here's the last word I want to leave with you all: harmonious. Be harmonious. Feel like we're on the same team. We're all serving together. We're all master's children. Be harmonious. And if you have to give a little bit, give. Okay, I'm the one who can do it better. Maybe I have more strength to do this thing and say, I'm sorry, or can I help you, or whatever it is. So I'm going to do it. Not, he didn't say anything to me, I'm not going to say anything to him. It just doesn't get you anywhere. So I like to close with this thought of Swamiji. If you could, let's sit up and inhale and tense your body, vibrate and relax. Twice more. This is a practice of opening the heart to kindness. Swamiji says, visualize a great sphere of light expanding outward from the area of your heart. Feel the sphere encompassing everything around you. Feel an actual sensation of warmth or energy in the Anahat, the heart chakra. Swamiji says, when you can view all human beings as members of your own extended family, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, and children, then you will find wherever you go that love awaits you and welcomes you. It is God who gazes back at you when you behold him in all.